In this video, I'm going to share a little bit about Google Forms and just give you a couple ideas to get you thinking about how you could use this great assessment tool in your classroom. First off, what you need to do is go to google.com, and then there should be a little like the little box up here that looks like this. If you click down on it, you can go to Drive, or just search Google Drive. And when you arrive on that page, you're going to have to set up an account. So I'd recommend you can use your school email address when you're setting up that account. You don't need to use a different one. So you can set up use your school email address, and then access Drive, which I'm in right now. And that's where you're going to create your form. So click on Create, and then go to Form. Once you got to the creation page for your form, it's always going to prompt you to ask, what do you want it to look like? So I'm going to call this one reading notes, and I want it to look like this, and click OK. So as we go, the first question, your reading notes is up here, and you're going to have different questions. So our first question is going to be reading student name. Now I found that when I've used this before, you can choose to come down here and do text where you type the student's name in, but I like to do it quick, and if you're doing it on a tablet, a phone, or even a computer, it's a little bit easier just to have a drop-down list. So we're going to go choose from list, and you just start typing your students' names in. You just have to do this the first time you set up this form. Billy, and then hit enter to drop down to the next one, Sally, Jimmy. And then when you're done, if you want to make a required question, you can. That means every time you fill it out, you'll have to fill this one out, which I would for the name. Click done, and then go add an item. And the next one we're going to do is paragraph text, because under their name, reading notes. So I'm going to pretend that I'm doing a conferring session with a student, and I'm going to sit down next to them, and I want to collect the notes. But instead of having to flip through a binder, I want to collect those notes, make it so I can collect them all on one page, have them very organized, and be able to sort so I can just see those students or that student's data. So when I go back, I can make those instructional decisions a lot quicker. So I'm going to leave it as paragraph text, and I'm going to leave this one as maybe not required. So that way, down the road, if I don't want to fill this one out, I don't have to. And then I'll click done. And for the last one, we're just going to do a scale. So let's just pick a strategy, or yeah, let's pick a strategy. So connections. So I'm really focusing on how well they're connecting to their text. So I can do a 1 through 4. If I want to, I can label them and give them a label. No connection with text. Connected with text and supported with evidence. And then I can make this, I'll leave it not required, and click done. So my form is basically done. So I'm going to fill this out a couple of times, then I'll come back and show you what it looks like in the data piece. One other thing before I do that, you want to make sure that you can start accepting responses, okay? And you're already accepting them. Okay, they may prompt you to the point where they'll say, if it doesn't say accepting responses, make sure you choose that. I already have mine set up so it goes to its own spreadsheet. You may have it pop up where it'll ask you where do you want the responses to go. Then you can pick a spreadsheet for that. So I'll click pause. So one more thing I was going to share with you is you come up to responses while you're completing your form. You can change the response destination. So if you click that, it's right now going to something that says reading notes responses. You can pick a new sheet if you would like. That will allow you to go to that sheet as well. So that's another way that you can change your response destination. So right now we're going to cancel, and I'm going to show you just what the live form looks like. So I sit down with the student. I can pick from the drop down and say Jimmy had no connection to the text. I believe the text is too difficult. Then I can mark and submit. And then if I want to go on to my next student, I can submit another response. And again, it pops up just the same. Now here's where those responses are being collected. So I can sort, let's say that conferences are coming up and I want to see Sally over time, how did she do? So what I can do is come up over here where there's a filter. If I click on filter, it'll put filters across that column. So if I want to filter by just looking at Sally and click OK, all the other students will go away and I can just see Sally's data. So that's a quick way to be able to sort. If I'm looking at conference time and I want to just see how Sally's doing over time, I can see specifically her different scores. I can average those together. I can see some of the notes that I've put for her. This is a great way to collect data on students and have it easily sortable and organized for you to access. Now, the next piece of it is, so I have my data. It also makes this nice little summary chart for you as well. So if I look at my summary, I can see that for connections, you know what, this is my whole class, and I can see that we're doing well with this area, or we need to work on it a little bit more. So I can pinpoint specifically how we're doing as a class. Consistently, are we able to do this, or do I need to work more in my instruction or pull specific small groups by going back here and finding students that had 2s and 1s and bring those up and pull those into a small group. So I can do that. I can also see the number of daily responses. Have I made sure that I've met with every student, or are there certain students that I have not met with yet or need to meet with more? So this way it helps me kind of see, and this is done by just going to form within your responses page, and I can go to show summary of responses, and that will bring up the page right here. So this is a nice way to just summarize all of that. The other really nice feature is once you're in the My Drive, what you can do is these are right in here. So I can open them up, and here's my responses. And if I want to go back to responses, that's in my Google Drive. So I can go back to the reading notes one as well. What I've seen a lot of teachers do is take this form and put a link on a website, or if they have an iPad in their classroom or even their phone, have a link on their phone that they click and can fill it out, and it opens that website up. Other ways you could do this is just have one form for each student. So have one page that you've created that every student has a link, and you can just click on that student and collect data just for them on that page. So there's a few ways that you can do it, but I think overall this is a way to hopefully spark your ideas. Here's another example of just a data collection form that if I'm filling it out for a student, I can collect the reading words per minute, track over time. I can have their notes for their level/score for math fact fluency. Just basically allowing you to collect anecdotal notes and have it organized by student name so you can easily access it. So this is just one example of the power of Google Forms, and hopefully this will spark some ideas with yourself to be able to figure out how you could possibly use this in your classroom or in your specific setting.